Hello everyone, welcome to today's YouTube video on complex cube root of unity. So let us write out the problem. So if we want to find the cube root of 1, unity is 1. That's what we want. We can retrace our step back. You see that it will give us s cube is equal to 1. And it will give us that s cube minus 1 is equal to 0. So we want to find the roots of this equation. So this equation will give us three roots because x is raised to power 3. So let us use polynomial to check, so that if we put p of 1 into this equation, we'll get 1 cube minus 1. So 1 cube minus 1 is 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore x is equal to 1 is a root, and or you just say x minus 1 is a factor. So if x minus 1 is a factor, it means we can divide this equation by x minus 1. And if we do that, we have done this before, but I'll go through it again. S squared, here we get s cubed minus x squared, so that you have there's no quotient of s squared, so 0 minus this is s squared, then minus 1, so that the next one that will go is plus x, here s squared, here minus x. No quotient of x also, so 0 minus x is x, then this one equals 1. So that the next one that will go is plus 1, so that x here, this x here minus 1, so is 0. So we find out that the roots of this equation now is, at least we have gotten to the factors, this plus 1. We have gotten that. So, but we can use a formula method of solving quadratic equation to find this number. We can use x2, since we have found x1. We can use x2, x3 is equal to minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a to find it, so that you see that it's equal to minus b here is a here is 1, a is 1, b is 1, c is 1. So if we put it, you see minus 1 plus minus square root of 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times 1 all over 2 times 1, so that we have that x2 and x3 will give us minus 1 over 2, if you like, plus or minus square root of, this is 4, 1 minus 4 is minus 3 over 2. And we have said that this thing in bracket, this thing in bracket, and the root is equal to 3i squared, so that it will give us minus 1 over 2 plus or minus I, because square root of I squared is I, root 3 all over 2. So that the three roots now will be, the three roots are, or the three factors, if you like. Okay, let me say the three roots are x1, 2, 3, and there are 1 for the first one. The second one will be minus 1 over 2 plus I root 3 over 2, while the third one will be minus 1 over 2 minus I root 3 over This is the first one. The second one you use the negative, the first one you use the positive. Okay, so that's a very good point there, but we want to show you some important property of this thing. We want to multiply this by itself and multiply this by itself and see what will happen. So if we multiply minus 1 over 2 plus I root 3 over 2 by itself, that is squaring itself, so we will have minus 1 over 2 squared minus 1 over 2 times this I root 3 over 2. Then this minus root 3 over 2 as I times half. Then this one multiply itself, it will be plus I squared, 3I squared all over 4. 3I squared all over 4. So if we do that, we get that is equal to, this one is 1 over 4 minus, this thing is half of this, negative, so it's 1. It's 1 of that, so it's this, 3 over 2. This is minus, this guy is minus 1 times this minus 3 over 4. So you find out that we will have this minus this will give you minus 2 over 4, which is minus 1 over 2. Minus 2 over 4 is minus 1 over 2 minus I root 3 over 2. You find out that we have squared this and we got this. We squared this to get this. We squared this and we have got this. Look at it here. So let us now square this. That's this one. Let us square this one. If we square that, if we do the same thing, minus 1 over 2 minus I root 3 over 2 squared. If we square it, we'll get, let's say also, we'll get minus 1 over 2 squared. Let me use red. Minus 1 over 2 times minus I root 3 over 2 minus I root 3 over 2 times minus 1 over 2 times minus 1 over 2, then plus this one multiplying itself is I squared 3 or 3I squared all over 4, because 2 times 2 is 4, all over 4. So we'll have it to be also 1 over 4 minus, remember this is minus, this is plus now. This is minus minus plus, this is minus minus plus. So half plus half is 1. So 1 times this, because we factor it out, is 1 over 2. Then plus, okay, this is a minus 3 over 4. Minus 3 over 4. So we get it to be minus 3 over this minus 2 over 4, which is minus 1 over 2. Minus 1 over 2. This one is plus, like I said, this time is plus, this time is plus. Plus I root 3 over 2. I root 3 over 2. So you now see that we squared this one and got the other one. So if we square this one, we get this. If we square this one, we get this. If we square this one, we get this. So we now say, we can now say that therefore the roots of unity are 1, comma, W, comma, and W squared. because if we represent this to be w, so this one will be w squared. If we represent this one to be w squared, this one will be, if we represent this one to be w, this one will be w squared, and what have you. So that we find out that okay, let me just put it here, 1 comma minus 1 over 2, the first one is plus I root 3 over 2, that's this one. This one is minus half minus I root 3 over 2. So that's what it will give you. That's what it will give you. So that from here we can easily find the magnitude. So that the magnitude of this w, which is this, equals the square root of the real part squared, real w squared, plus imaginary w squared. That's the formula. So that is equal to, the real part is where is that blue? So the real part now is 1 minus 1 over 2 squared, remember square root, plus imaginary part is root 3 over 2 squared. So root 3 over 2 squared, this one is 1 over 4. This one is 3 over 4. 3 over 4. 1 over 4 plus 3 over 4 is 1. Is 1. Square root of 1, and is equal to 1. So you find out that the magnitude will give you 1. It will give you 1. Another fine property is that if we add those three roots, 1 plus w squared, we get 0. 1 plus minus 1 over 2 plus I root 3 over 2 plus minus 1 over 2 minus I root 3 over 2. If you work it out, you see that this minus this will go, this minus this minus this is minus 1, this minus this is minus 1, then plus 1 is equal to 0. So these are how these things are done. With this you can use it to prove so many things. Thanks, and please subscribe and click on the notification button so that whenever we post new videos you can see it. Bye.